What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Did you know that Africa, certain countries, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and also some other countries, have apologized for their role in slavery? Now, did you also know that even some of those countries have given free land, if you will, as long as you pay for the fees or the surveillance, whatever it might be, minuscule amount for quarter acre plots and what have you, by the injustice what took place over hundreds of years ago by our ancestors who sold many Africans over to the Europeans. And that acknowledgement was at least recognized by those today who gave an apology and restituted by some land. Now, why hasn't America done such? Hold on. America did. Did you know in 2008, 2009, it was on the floor of the Senate of an apology for America's involvement with slavery? Actually, the House of Representatives passed it and the Senate also, but there was a caveat to it. Now, listen to this as I read this. The U.S. Senate approved a resolution on Thursday calling on Congress to officially apologize for slavery and segregation of African Americans. The House is set to take up the resolution as early as next week. And they did. This is an old article dated back in June 20, 2009. But it says that in the 2009 resolution had differed from Republican Cohen 2008 resolution in that it includes a disclaimer. And this right here is the caveat, because what passed was this disclaimer attached to the apology. It says that nothing in this resolution authorizes or supports any claim against the United States or serves as a settlement of any claim against the United States. Now, don't you find that interesting? This so-called disclaimer was the so-called ticket to keep Black African Americans from suing the United States for its involvement with segregation and slavery, to include the Jim Crow laws. And they knew this. They knew this because the ramifications of what should be by being found guilty of harsh treatment and slavery and murder and rape and robbing and, keeping people disadvantaged and separated from society, that it would be very costly. But isn't it interesting that America could give restitution to the natives? They could give restitution to the Japanese people. You remember the war, when we bombed Japan, if you will. And I say we as in America here, the country where my feet are on. But they even paid and assisted for the Holocaust. America did. Gave billions. They also contributed billions for the Jews to be taken over to what we call Israel today. But nothing as far as reparations, as far as giving some type of assistance or passing laws for education for the disadvantaged Black people in America who contributed so much, as I'm about to read what your President Obama said, as though that he had achieved something great. But nobody was able to benefit from the apology when other apologies people benefited. This should also stir you wrong, whether you're black, white, green, red, blue, whatever, to see the injustice of how a system developed and created by white folks could do such devastation from generation to generation, broken up families been split, husband, wives, children were divided and sent off to different plantations, and some were murdered and killed and maimed, and the story goes on. But to put the people, African Americans, back in their rightful place, you could not make right by at least giving a fair advantage in education, in employment, in that judicial system being changed, housing. They know this is an area that we lag in, and it's proven by many of data over the years that the psychological brain drain that has haunted many of the African Americans who have been stuck in poverty for hundreds of years, who could not even overcome it because of being placed in ghettos, poor education, lack of jobs, only to extend their hand to what they would put crimes against, rocked many families and generations. So it says here, that in a statement recognizing Juneteenth, a day sometimes referred to as Emancipation Day, President Obama praised the Senate-backed resolution. After African Americans helped to build our nation brick by brick and have contributed to her growth in every way, even when rights and liberties were denied to them, Obama said. In light of the historic unanimous vote in the United States Senate this week supporting the call for an apology for slavery and segregation, the occasion carries even more significance. Let me say this, and I do these videos sometimes even for the youth, so that somebody comes across this and see truth. We live in a day that we say apologies mean everything. And just because you give an apology on a piece of paper with an attachment of disclaimer to protect yourself from those who have been really strongly mistreated through the histories of their generations, who could not even get a fair share in a society that really was built for white people or created for white people, the wound will always be and unhealed. The wound will continue to be and be unhealed because there's so many people. When you continue to have conversations of how many people of color in America has such a disadvantage through slavery and the Jim Crow laws and, segregation and unfair practices through the federal government, whether it was through housing and loans and business loans, and people will always suffer when they don't get a proper apology with a benefit attached to it. I mean, it's no different than, I go out here and I drive my car recklessly and I murder somebody on the street. Well, I will do time, but guess what's coming else? A civil suit from the family who lost a loved one from my reckless driving. And they can sue me for that loss of their loved one. One day, we all shall rise. When we put down calling ourselves Moors and, Hebrew Israelites and, blacks or Democrats, Republicans, when we stop calling ourselves Christians or Muslims and we look at ourselves as a people, then in the Western worlds, will you ever have a fair shake? That's why I say, this is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa.
Think about it, 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 think about it.